Daniel was 32 years old. Once upon a time he had dreams. He graduated from college with honors, landed a job at a tech startup, and even gotten engaged to the love of his life, Emily. But life doesn't always follow the plan we imagine. The startup collapsed during an economic downturn. His savings disappeared faster than he expected. Stress crept into his relationship like a silent storm. Within a year, Emily was gone, the apartment was gone, and the future he thought was certain had vanished. Now he was sleeping on a friend's couch in a cramped apartment on the south side, sending out resumes that never received replies. Every "we regret to inform you" email felt like a confirmation of his worst fear, that he wasn't enough. That night, Daniel wasn't just waiting for the train. He was thinking about stepping in front of it. He stared at the glowing headlights of the approaching train in the distance. His heart pounded in his ears. The platform was crowded, but he felt completely invisible. People scrolled on their phones, adjusted their scarves, avoided eye contact. No one saw the storm raging inside him. His thoughts spiraled. You're a burden. You failed. No one would really miss you. And then, someone bumped into him. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Daniel turned, startled. Standing in front of him was a little girl, maybe 7 or 8 years old, with curly brown hair poking out from under a pink knit hat. She clutched a sketchbook to her chest. Her mother stood just behind her, looking apologetic. The little girl looked up at Daniel with wide eyes, and then she smiled. It wasn't a polite smile. It wasn't forced. It was pure, warm, unfiltered. You look really sad, she said softly. My teacher says when someone looks sad we should give them a smile. So here. And she smiled even bigger. Daniel blinked. For a split second the noise of the station faded. The train lights blurred. That smile, it wasn't judgmental. It wasn't pitying. It was just kind. He hadn't seen kindness directed at him in a long time. Her mother gently tugged her sleeve. Lily, honey. But Lily kept looking at him. It'll get better, she added with complete certainty, like she was stating a fact about the weather. The train roared into the station, wind rushing past them. Daniel instinctively stepped back instead of forward. The doors opened. People shuffled in. Lily waved at him as her mother guided her inside. Bye, mister. Don't forget to smile back. And for the first time in months, Daniel did. It was small, hesitant, but real. The doors closed. The train pulled away. The platform grew quiet again. Daniel stood there trembling. Not from the cold this time, but from the realization of what had just almost happened. That little girl had no idea what he'd been planning. She didn't know she had interrupted the darkest moment of his life. But she had. And somehow her smile cracked open a tiny space inside his chest where hope could breathe again. He went home that night and didn't tell anyone what had happened. But he couldn't stop thinking about her words. It'll get better. Over the next few days something shifted. Not dramatically. He was still unemployed. Still heartbroken. Still uncertain. But he started noticing things. The barista who wrote "You got this" on his coffee cup after overhearing him talk about job interviews. The elderly neighbor in his friend's building who always nodded at him and said, "Keep your head up, son." The way the sunrise painted the city in gold when he woke up early one morning. It was as if Lily's smile had flipped a switch. Instead of only seeing rejection and failure, he began to see small glimmers of humanity. A week later, Daniel decided to volunteer at a local community center while he continued job hunting. At first, it was just something to fill the empty hours. But soon it became more. He started tutoring middle school kids in math and basic coding. Many of them came from difficult backgrounds, single-parent homes, neighborhoods struggling with crime, families barely making ends meet. He saw pieces of his own insecurity in their eyes. One afternoon, a quiet boy named Marcus stayed after class. "I'm just not smart enough," Marcus muttered, staring at his failed test. Daniel felt a pang in his chest. He recognized those words. He knelt beside him. "You know, a few weeks ago I thought I wasn't enough either. But sometimes, we just need someone to believe in us until we can believe in ourselves." Marcus looked up. Daniel smiled. The same kind of gentle, reassuring smile Lily had given him. "Let's try again," he said. Months passed. Volunteering turned into a part-time position at the center. Then, one of the board members, impressed by Daniel's dedication, recommended him for a role at a nonprofit tech initiative focused on providing coding education to underserved communities. The interview was different this time. Daniel didn't walk in desperate. He walked in grounded, purposeful. When they asked why he wanted the job, he didn't talk about his resume. He said, "Because someone once showed me that small acts can save lives. I want to be that for someone else." He got the job. Years later, Daniel stood on a stage in front of hundreds of students at a national youth conference in Washington, D.C. Behind him was a banner for the nonprofit he now directed, a program that had helped thousands of teenagers learn coding skills and secure scholarships. He told them about failure, about losing everything, about standing on a train platform in Chicago, believing there was no way forward. And then he told them about a little girl with a pink hat. "I never saw her again," he admitted. "She probably doesn't even remember me. But her smile changed my life. Because in my darkest moment, she reminded me that I was still human, still seen." The audience was silent. Some were wiping away tears. Daniel looked out at the sea of young faces. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be powerful. You don't have to have all the answers. Sometimes all it takes is a smile, a kind word, a moment of courage to care. Back in Chicago on another cold November evening, Daniel visited the same train station. Not out of sadness but gratitude. He stood near the edge of the platform, remembering how close he had come to stepping forward instead of back. A young man stood a few feet away, staring down the tracks with hollow eyes. Daniel recognized that look instantly. He walked over and gently said, "Hey, you okay?" The young man shrugged. Daniel smiled. Not a big one. Not forced. Just warm. Steady. Present. And in that moment the ripple continued. Because a simple smile can interrupt a tragedy. It can soften a hardened heart. It can remind someone they matter.